Hello.
Hello.
Can you
Hello,
hear?
hello. Do you hear me well?
Yeah. Cool.
Nice sweater. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first LinkedIn Live, I have to say. We made our first LinkedIn Live and we are here to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of Around the World in 250 co-working
Working
spaces.
spaces. Woohoo.
I was just talking with Madalena, our designer, and she said she cannot believe it's been a year already. And I can relate. What about you, Dimitar?
Well, there's so many things that happened the past year that it's difficult to put in one sentence or even like in one presentations that what people see after a few minutes. But I'm quite excited also about what's happening next year. So in the next few months, not next year, but next few months. So yeah, quite exciting, and I think we've been in a crazy journey in the past months. We traveled a lot. We saw all the co-working spaces we couldn't because of COVID. We learned new things, and we heard a lot of people asking when the second book is coming. So yeah,
Yeah, good question.
we'll see.
Maybe just so I guess maybe on that LinkedIn Live and later people will not know who we are. So I just want to maybe reset things. The reason we are here today is because we want to celebrate the 1 year mark of the book. And it's a very important milestone for us, for the project. So we decided to use that specific date to also release something that has been in the making for quite a while, which is the AW 250 CS Members Club. Um, just in short, what we are going to go through today. So we are just going to share a little bit the story behind the book, what's inside, reflecting also on what happened the last year together with Dimitar and all the people involved in the project. And then, of course, we'll be celebrating the release of the club and share a little bit more about what's next. Right?
Cool. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. So if you are very new to this LinkedIn and if you wonder why did we release a book about co-working around the world, we have to take you a little bit back in time, more precisely in 2015 in Berlin, where Dimitar and I met in a co-working space that you see on the picture on the left. In that co-working space, which was primarily for early stage entrepreneurs, we were doing many events to help them integrate with each other, get to know each other, but also integrate within the city. And one of the events we were hosting was a weekly community breakfast. That breakfast was open to everyone, whether they were in the space or whether they were just in Berlin and wanted to meet our community. And with Dimitar, we were very fascinated by that breakfast because people were getting a lot out of it. They were networking a lot. They were getting to help each other a lot. And when we were watching those interactions in that breakfast, but also on the daily in the space, we started to ask ourselves two questions. One of them was, what does life look like in other co-working spaces around us? We wanted to know what kind of communities were using co-working in Berlin, but also what was happening there every day, what kind of events, how were people using the space, etc. And the second question we also wanted to understand a little bit more was what kind of impact co-working spaces have on people who use them or get around them and on cities who have co-working spaces. To figure that out, we decided to launch a little research project of ours at the time. And I have to say, we were lucky to be in Berlin because Berlin is really dynamic when it comes to co working spaces. So we went around the city, we interviewed quite a few founders, teams, and people using co working spaces to understand what they were doing. And at the breakfast of the co-working space I used to manage one day, Dimitar and I were talking about this project. And in the crowd, we had a visitor from Milan who told us, hey guys, I run a co-working space. You should come and see what we are doing because it's quite different. We also have an educational component to our space. So whenever you come to Milan, let me know. I'll show you around. We got quite excited and we said, okay, let's do it. So we went to Milan and basically Milan was just the opening of our journey. because over the last 6 years, Dimitar and I were quite on the road, and we had the chance to visit 455 co-working spaces across 50 cities. We went to villages, we went to islands, we went to capital cities, second-tier cities. We had the chance to go all the way from Tokyo to pretty much New York. And we also had the chance to meet a lot of those wonderful people you see right now on those selfies, discussing with them what kind of communities they were working with and for, how were they creating value for them, how did they see their city change since they opened, and many more topics, which actually, speaking of New York, was also for us the opening of a new project, aka this book, because in 2017 we met Thomas Janka, which you see on this picture right here. Thomas is the founder of a co-working space called Based In, primarily targeted at creatives. And when we discussed with Thomas about what we have been up to that point, which I think by then we had seen 150 co-working spaces. At the end of our conversation, Thomas said, "Wow, you guys have seen so much, you should write a book. I would love to read stories of other co-working founders, co-working teams, understand what they are doing." And when he said that, we connected it to our mission and why are we doing all those travelings, which was making co-working better. So helping co-working spaces to create better experiences for their members, helping companies understand better what's co-working, but also helping people understand how they can find co-working spaces for themselves. And the idea of making a book like a physical product somehow made all the sense in the world, because we were suddenly able to put our mission into one thing that would bring together all the people we wanted to reach. So we decided to make it happen. The book has been in the making since 2018. We started working on the concept in 2018, as in, what do we want this book to be? Who are we making this for? Which was a very important question. And also, how do we want to publish it? Do we want to go with a publisher, or would we rather self-publish? This is a question, I have to say, that we iterated on a lot with Dimitar. And in the end, we decided to self-publish because we love to learn, we love challenges, and we thought this was a great opportunity for us to learn how to create a book from beginning to end. When we made that decision in 2019, we started really identifying the topics we wanted to cover in the book, but also the spaces we wanted to interview and have in. And by the end of 2019, the book was quite advanced in terms of content and design. But then 2020 came, and COVID, big impact for the project. Suddenly, we saw a lot of the co-working spaces like us trying to figure out what was happening, how long will this last, and what kind of impact will it have? Because in many regions of the world, co-working spaces were just like lost and trying to figure out what to do to help their members. So we decided to pause the project because we felt it wasn't the time for it. And instead, we got close to our community. We started to do more online events to help community managers. We hosted an online hackathon, a worldwide one where we could connect all those communities together. And we said, when the time comes, we'll just resume the project. And the time came in 2021, when all of us started to understand a little bit more how to navigate and how to deal with COVID. We did a Kickstarter campaign because we are not going to lie. Of course, the COVID had some financial consequences for the project. So having a Kickstarter campaign allowed us to do two things. One is to bring back the community all together around the project and reach new people, but also help us fundraise to finance the printing of the project. We also finalized, of course, in 2021 the content, and we sent it to print. We also learned to navigate with delays, because as everyone doing physical products during the pandemic, many of the factories and many of the print houses were having to manage with different, like, reduced shifts, which impacted our delivery for the paper, for everything. But 1 year ago, exactly, the books arrived at our office. You can see actually this picture of Dimitar holding the books like this was taken exactly a year ago. And for the funny story, this morning when I opened my phone, it was a reminder from Apple to say, hey, 1 year ago, exactly this happened. So Dimitar was holding our books 1 year ago. And I selected those pictures in the presentation because they are really a combination of our journey creating this project. You see Madalena, who is the creative head behind and who made the design behind the book. But a lot of what we've been doing was online because we couldn't go to the print house in Lisbon. We couldn't be with Madalena in Lisbon because of COVID. So we learned together with her and our printer to send ourselves videos of the book being printed or send each other pictures of the book being loaded in the truck, or Madalena receiving the copy, like the maquette of the book for the very first time. She was also the first one to actually see the books because we couldn't be there. So for us, it was kind of a magical journey to navigate how can we still feel like we are making this book, although we are so far away from Lisbon. I also have to say that this project would not have come to life without the help of those people that you see right now on this slide. So if Alexandra from Kinarps, Christian and Kate from Salto are watching this right now, we really want to say a massive thank you to you guys. Thank you for trusting us in the very early days of the project. And thank you for literally having been the best partners we could wish for. We've been really thrilled to work on that with you guys. And also I want to thank Madalena and Claire, who have been a part of the project. Madalena with the design, Claire with the proofreading of the book. Thank you also to both of you for working with us in making it all happen. And of course, I have to thank from the bottom of our hearts the 250 co-working spaces featured inside. Thank you for allowing us to share your story, for allowing us to create something that really celebrates the co-working industry worldwide. Without you and without your insights, the book will not be there. So thanks, guys, if you are watching this now, for helping us in making it happen. Now, if some of you don't have the book yet and you wonder what's inside, well, there are 250 stories of people who created those environments. So they are founders, they are co-working teams. We even have members who wrote stories to share how their space started, how they grew, how they navigated the pandemic and other things. Lots of learnings to get out of those 250 stories. We worked with our partners, Salto, who does access control systems, and Kinarps, who does office furniture, on case studies to help our readers understand how interior design and access controls can be game changers in creating great experiences for people in the workplace. And then we also created a case study of our own of how we almost made a co-working space in Berlin. If you want to know why we didn't do it, you have to get the book. And of course, we also brought together 8 initiatives that we created along the way of our journey on how we contribute to making co-working better as a community and as an industry. Now, let's look back at the last 365 days since the book got released. Again, we had to navigate the pandemic, we had to navigate COVID, so we couldn't do as much as we wanted. But there are 2 things we did that was quite magical for in-person events. The first one is the Berlin book launch. We hosted it in October 2021 at the Student Hotel Berlin, which is a space featured in our book. We recently did a live on Instagram with them, so if you guys want to check it out, you have to go on our Instagram account. The Berlin book launch was really special, I have to say, because the pandemic was still there a lot. So we were literally wondering if people would come, and actually the show, like everybody turned out and showed up to celebrate the book. We invited all the co-working spaces from Berlin to come and present who they are, what they are doing. And what felt really magical for me was that I realized a lot of those spaces knew each other from afar, but never really met in person for various reasons. And to see that our event was able to bring them together in person really felt special. So I want to thank again Salto and Kinarps for allowing us to bring this event, but also the Student Hotel for being the best host ever in creating that event. And the second one we did was in London in June 2022. And we followed literally like the same principle. So we invited all the co-working spaces featured in the book to share who they are, where are they based, what kind of communities do they support through their spaces. And we also invited our extended community, so people who knew us from close or far, to come and celebrate co-working. We did the event at X and Y, a purpose-driven co-working space that you can see in the book and also on an Instagram live we did recently. And really similar experience, like we realized that spaces didn't know each other so well, so seeing them network and also seeing people who were kind of like, yeah, I know what's co-working, but I haven't really used any, see that suddenly there were so many spaces at their fingertips and getting curious about them was really, really special. Of course, because we couldn't travel everywhere, we organized in November 2021 an online community launch. The idea behind that was like, okay, we can't travel so freely at the moment, so let's just bring everybody together during an online event. We celebrated the book, we celebrated co-working, we celebrated just the fact that we could get together during half a day. We had a few spaces that came for panel discussions. A lot of magic happened during those lives, of like collaborations and ideas being born. So that was really nice. And at the end, we took a big selfie with all the people who attended the event. Some of them you see on the picture now holding a book because they already had it. But that felt really, really magical. And of course, during the last year, we've also been invited by many different type of people and companies to share the story behind this book. So, for instance, we went to a few co-working spaces around Europe to attend community events, pizza night, breakfasts, and share the story behind the book, discuss with members about co-working and the ones they like or the one they've been visiting outside of their own. We went to bookstores to present the book during some of events there. We also got invited to company offices to present the journey of that book and talk about co-working. And of course, we've been attending conferences where we discussed co-working through various angles. And if some of you guys invited us and watched this live now or even later, once again, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure to participate to those events and to really share a little bit more about how co-working can have a positive impact for different communities. A little bit more of like traveling. This was in Warsaw with our partner KeenArts. We had a great event. It's a funny story, which we will tell in an article, a blog post maybe, because it's a little bit long. But yeah, lots of great events were happened for us. And of course, we loved reading your feedback. We've been receiving many stories and many memories from you guys on how you use the book to create your own co-working journeys. Thanks really for sharing those messages. They're very special. I just want to stop for a second on that particular message, which we received from a co-working space in Japan. What they did, which was really a nice idea, because they got featured, they approached a local newspaper and they said, hey, we've been featured in this international guide of co-working spaces. Would you like to write a story about us and about the fact that we are in this global book? And the local newspaper say, yeah, we'll do it. They wrote the article, and then it got picked up by Yahoo Japan, which is the biggest news portal in the country. And it raised, we saw suddenly on our own website, many people from Japan coming and checking the book, which was amazing. So that's like just one really cool story. And another one I want to share from Donna, who is based in New Zealand. I don't know if you're watching this. Hi, Donna. She also got a copy of the book. And one of our members, who is a Berliner, he's from New Zealand, but he came back to New Zealand for 6 weeks to see his family. And when he told her, yeah, I use co-working spaces in Berlin, she asked him, which co-working space do you use? And he said, Motion Lab. Guys from Motion Lab, if you watch this, you have to hello first, and then I think you like this story. She said, wow, Motion Lab, wait, I have a book. I think I read about them. So she pulled out the book. She showed him that they were inside. And then they had a great conversation about Motion Lab and co-working in general. Another example I want to share is the co-working community of Japan. They use the book to learn with each other, and from the book itself and the stories inside, to how they can do things better or maybe get some inspiration and fresh ideas. So that was really nice to see that a community can come around a book like this one, read stories together and say, hey, what are we taking away for us as a community, but also for us as operators? So yeah, if you have some of those stories, by the way, that you didn't share with us, please email us. We love receiving those ones. Of course, I also want to acknowledge that the book has been featured in quite a few outlets. Some of them are listed here, but we couldn't put them all in one slide. Thank you so much to all the journalists and blogs who took the time to write articles about what we are doing and the purpose and idea behind this book. Some of them you see there here on Office, Welcome to the Jungle, Eurokubu, Co-working Spain, Cobot, Office R&D, Nexudus, Ncards, All Work, plenty of articles. If you guys are curious to see the many languages, you can make your way on coworkingsbook.com/press, where you'll see different articles. And if you are a journalist watching this and wish to contact us, you can also do so on the website. Now, as the time has come, I do like drum rolls, to introduce AW 250CS Members Club. As I said earlier in this live, it's something we've been discussing and talking about for quite some time, but we thought that celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the book with the release of that club made all the sense in the world. So let me introduce you to Members Club. It is not just a website, far from that. I have to say that along the last 365 days, maybe Dimitar, you remember how many people have asked us, is there going to be an ebook? We want an ebook. And we spend really a lot of time designing the experience around the physical product. So for us, making an ebook was not the same. Like we just didn't want people to just like be on a Kindle and look like it wasn't what we wanted. So we said, how can we put this book, like physical product, into a digital experience? And this is how Members Club was born. So what is it exactly? It's the digital home of the book, and it is really a place where we discuss and learn about co-working through different types of content and through curated events. The purpose of the club is really to allow anyone, and I really insist on anyone, interested in co-working to learn at their own rhythm, which is something we also really do with the book, while, and that's the little novelty around the club, I should say, having access to a supportive network of professionals with whom you can learn from and share learnings with. What's inside? There are 4 main things. The first one is Digital 52. So you might remember us talking about that one. Digital 52 is basically 52 stories that we are going to extract from the book that you will receive on a weekly basis, once a week, inside which you will have behind the scenes, so things we couldn't share in the book because otherwise the book would be much bigger, but also updates on where the space stands from at the time of now, since the story was published. And of course, a lot of other learnings and add-ons that we couldn't put in the book. And why 52? Because we will send those for a year. So one every week for a year. And the first one is going out next Friday. Then there will be a lot of in-depth article and analysis that we will release in the club. Those will be produced with co-working spaces featured in the book to help you guys, whatever your knowledge about co-working, to understand a little bit more that industry and what's happening at different levels, globally, regionally, locally. We also are putting together monthly online events. Those are curated. They are only for members of the club. They are smaller size type of events where we will discuss very specific topics related to the book. For instance, interior design in co-working, sustainability in co-working, business models behind co-working, community growth, community engagement. And because we understand that big events, sometimes people tend to be shy and they don't feel like it's a safe space for them to share. Those events will be in a smaller size type of, so like 10 to 15 people maybe max, so that we can really have deep interactions and engagement. And we're also launching a Discord inside the club where finally you can meet some of our readers, chat with them, and experience co-working in new ways. Who is the club for? Well, if you know us from the early days of the book, you know that we've made the book for the curious, the seekers, and the indecisives. Well, the club is the same. We have designed the club for the curious, which are people who might be interested in co-working as a trend, or maybe they use co-working spaces, but they don't really know, or they want to know more. Well, the club is for you guys. Then the seekers are usually the people who maybe run co-working spaces, or you have the project to make a co-working space and you seek some more inspiration. Well, the club is also for you. And then, of course, indecisive. So people are like, I don't know if co-working is for me. Like, I have my doubts. Well, come and join the club and let's discuss. Let us show you that maybe there are some co-working communities you might really enjoy and appreciate. How can you access the club? For now, there is this URL, club.coworkiesbook.com. I mean, it's going to stay, not that it's going to change. I should say, if you go on right now, there are a few articles already available, but the club is going to evolve along the way and along the coming weeks. So just to set expectations, it's a work in progress. It will change with time. It will change with you guys, with your feedback, because we want to grow it together with you. So if you go right now, don't be, it's just 2, 3, 4, 5 articles. There will be plenty more coming, and we are going to make it all together. So yeah, if you have ideas, let's discuss. How people will be able to access the club, we designed 3 membership tiers. The first one is what we call public access. So it's pretty much if you type the URL I shared earlier, you land on the landing page and you can consult the articles that will be open to the public. Then we have a free membership, which is you register with your email address free of charge. And you will, every time we will post an update, whether it is an article, whether it is an invite to an event, it will land directly in your mailbox so that you get informed and you keep up with the club. And then we have a pro membership, which is access. It gives you access to everything in the book club, from learning resources, the Digital 52, the community Discord, etc. And this is 49 euros for a year. I think it's a little bit less than €5 a month that you pay once you subscribe. Of course, because we are celebrating the 1-year mark anniversary of the book, we also wanted to offer everybody who has a copy already of the book and backers who backed our project on Kickstarter, you guys in the coming days will receive an invite, complimentary 1-year membership to the club with a free forever access to Digital 52. So keep an eye on your mailbox. It might take us a few days because we have a lot of people to invite there, but you will get your invite if you have a copy or if you supported the project on Kickstarter. And then what's next for AW250CS? As you can see, we are still super motivated and we are just like, this is just the beginning, basically. The next year, we are keeping on promoting co-working and its many shapes. But before next year, we're still having a few more months here. In early October, we will be at the Cross Border Conference in Bosnia. If you are there, hit us up. We would love to meet in person. In October, end of October, we will be at Orgatech in Cologne in Germany. Together with our partner Salto, we are hosting at Orgatech a really cool event. So if you are going, ping us, we will send you an invite. Early November, we will be in Amsterdam. We will attend Co-working Europe. We'll be the MCs of the conference. So if you are also planning to be there, hit us up. And last year, we are launching pop-up co-working events, which we can't say too much about. Just follow us here on LinkedIn, Instagram. Come join the club so that you can get a little bit more insights on what those will be. So what now? Let's meet in the club. If you have any questions after this live, feel free to contact us at this email address. We would love to read from you, and we are looking forward also to meeting everyone in the club. Dimitar, are you here?
Yes, thank you so much for this presentation, Pauline. It was really nice to kind of see what happened in the past months and what we have to work on in the coming. But I'm quite excited, and I must say that we've been observing very much what's happening in society and like what's happening with our life in general. And I think we all agree that the world now is not in the best place it can be. So
Yeah.
I believe co-working spaces are really essential for society and for the communities to stay strong and to push forward. And as we believe co-working should be better, we would love to support all those spaces in the coming months with all those initiatives that we have planned. And yeah, I'll be very much looking forward to working on all those projects that we have aligned and meet the many people in those conferences, in those events, and same online and in person. And yeah, very curious to see what's going to happen in the next year.
Likewise.
And I just want to say again, like also thank you to all the readers, all the people who bought the book, and Kate, Christian, and Alexandra. Like we couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you so much for supporting and always having the best conversations and pushing forward in the right direction together.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. I didn't see the comments, so I see now. I start to see some of them, and I don't know. Like, do we have any questions, Dimi, or?
No, I think just people
Okay.
are happy to.
I see the celebrations going with likes and stuff, so that's cool.
I see champagne emojis, so that's kind of cool in the middle of the day.
That's cool. Perfect. Yeah. I'll cheer to 1 year of great co-working stories with some sparkling water. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Well, then let's wrap things up. As I said, we can meet you guys in the club. Make your way right now. Keep an eye for your for invites coming up from today till next week. If you have a book with you and you don't hear from us by next week, end of next week, ping us or check your spam folder, like those dirty spams. Sadly, they prevent us from giving you good content. But yeah, check your spam also. And as I said earlier, we are always very keen on suggestions and ideas. So if you have some when you check the club, don't be shy. We love feedback. We love ideas. So ping us and share. And with that being said, I just want to say happy birthday to you, little book. And high five, virtual high five to you, Dimi, for being the best partner to bring this book to life also.
Same. Cool. And just for Kate, we'll make a gold membership for her. Sure.
Yes, of course. With like, for sure she will.
Thanks for the comments. Cool. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. This live will be available in replay soon. So if you just joined and you missed it, no worries. We will also share all the links that we've been discussing during the live in the comments of that, in a recap. That will come later today. So keep an eye on our LinkedIn page, Instagram account, and our website, where everything will be released.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I wish you all a great day and weekend. Bon appétit for those of you who are going to have lunch right now. And we hope to see you all soon, very soon, somewhere in the world. Ciao. Yeah.